SsangYong's Musso pickup aims to redefine the value proposition for customers in this segment and provide them with rugged but car-like transport. Better to drive and more affordable than most of its competitors, yet better equipped, it's a 5-seater double cab design that's as practical as you'd want and comes complete with the support of arguably the best after-sales warranty package in the business. If you're buying in this sector, you probably won't have been considering one. Perhaps you should.
It might not be overstating things to suggest that this SsangYong Musso pickup is one of the brand's most important models. While this growing South Korean maker's passenger car designs must battle with badge prejudice against more established rivals, this product will sell to pickup people who've usually no such hang-ups. They simply want the toughest, best value vehicle their funds can give them. And this could well be it. If you know anything about SsangYong pickup models, or perhaps you own one, you may well recognise this Musso for what it is, a revised version of the vehicle that the Korean brand sold here, badged as the Korando Sports between 2012 and 2016. SsangYong has changed the name because it wanted to differentiate this utility truck from its Korando SUV passenger car. The other more important thing that's changed is the diesel engine beneath the bonnet. Previously a 2-litre unit, but now 2.2 litres in size, so that more pulling power can be provided. Something SsangYong has somehow managed at the same time as delivering a significant improvement in CO2 emissions. It's certainly a world away from the ancient old 2.9-litre Mercedes-derived diesel that was fitted to the last SsangYong Musso pickup we saw in this country, the ugly-looking Ken Greenlee designed model that was produced between 2002 and 2005. The brand is promoting this Musso model in much the same fashion as it marketed its Korando Sports predecessor. It is, we're told, not only a commercial carrier, but can also function as a passenger car with pickup versatility, thanks to the kind of supple multi-link rear suspension that most other pickups don't have. Yet there's all the rugged, workmanlike ability you'd really want from a model in this class, thanks to a 1-ton payload and a 3-ton towing capacity. We've heard this kind of claim before, of course, from the established players in this sector, but applied to vehicles that cost more and offer less. Pound for pound, this one aims to be different, benchmarked against the best, but priced to your pocket. Let's check it out. Proper pickups must come complete with a proper separate frame chassis, the mark of a serious off-roader. This might not be a recipe for car-like handling, but it'll deliver you a vehicle fit for purpose anywhere from the sands of the Serengeti to the pampas of Patagonia. Or, as in this case, the industrial estates of Ilford to the building sites of Bolton. It's the formula that nearly all serious contenders in this sector use, but some brands have perfected it for pavement better than others. SsangYong, for example. Now, you wouldn't call this Musso's ride absorbent, but if you're used to the crude, bumpy experience that most other pickups provide, it'll be impressive. Enough, perhaps, to make the difference between having to buy a conventional passenger car for driving around when the workday's done, or continuing to rely on the varied talents of this SsangYong. And, as you'd expect, there's a reason for this. Here we have one of the only pickups in the segment with car-like rear coil springs rather than the rudimentary leaf-sprung suspension that's used by most rivals. Now that makes all the difference to the way this Musso feels on tarmac. Around town, it'll feel much like a rugged, large SUV passenger car to drive, with urban manoeuvrability aided by a surprisingly tight 6.2-metre turning circle. Under the bonnet lies a piece of technology the brand is especially proud of, its 2.2-litre Euro 6 diesel engine. First and foremost, this is one of the more refined diesels you'll find in this class, far better than something like an Isuzu D-Max. That's one of the key reasons why the cabin is so relatively quiet on the move for a vehicle of this type. Even more important is the fact that this engine puts out significantly more power than many of its rivals, the 178 PS figure on offer being 23 PS more than the output delivered by the 2-litre unit used in this model's Korando Sports pickup predecessor. More importantly, pulling power has also been increased, the torque figure up from 360 to 400 Newton meters between 1500 and 2800 RPM. Now that makes quite a difference. Whereas the old Korando Sports was limited to 2.3 tonnes in its brake towing capacity, this Musso can lug along up to 3 tonnes in weight. And when you don't have to hitch up, it'll cruise happily flat out just above the legal limit, powering forward until the squirrel aerodynamics bring a stop to proceedings at around 108 miles an hour. All of this will be unaffected by your choice between a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 6-speed auto. Off-road, this Musso is more than ready to get tough on the rough stuff. It uses a part-time selectable four-wheel drive system that's been reliably proven over some of the most demanding terrain in the world, aided by design that optimises this pickup both for gradient and waterlogged ground. There's an approach angle of up to 26.5 degrees, a departure angle of up to 22.5 degrees, and a ramp angle of up to 21 degrees. There's also a useful 188mm of ground clearance at the front and 212mm at the rear. SsangYong design has come a long way since the last generation Musso pickup was quietly deleted from the company's product lineup back in 2005. The awkward, ungainly styling of that old Ken Greenlee pen model shares nothing with the more confident, sophisticated shape on offer here. It's a subtle development of what was served up by the Korando Sports pickup that sold between 2012 and 2016, the vehicle this modern Musso directly replaces. If you happen to be familiar with that model, the most obvious aesthetic improvement you'll notice here lies with the front fog lamps, now embellished with jewel-like LEDs. SsangYong says that this mesh front grille's been redesigned too, topped with a chrome strip and flanked by headlamps featuring smart black bezels. In profile, fans of the brand might also notice these smarter 18-inch alloy wheels, the kind of feature you'd have to pay extra for on competitors, but one that's standard here across the range. Like some of SsangYong's passenger cars, this model gets a distinctive upwardly curving crease that starts at the end of this tough side rubbing strip at the outer edge of the rear door, then flows into the tail lamp cluster. There are 2 more swage lines further up, flowing both above and below the body-coloured door handles. So, plenty going on in profile, but much less here at the rear, where the brand has decided that a tough, workman-like shape is all that's required. Of course, what's more important is what you can't see, the solid ladder frame chassis that supports the 1-ton payload and facilitates the kind of tough life that Musso models like this one have to lead in the Korean military. And inside, well, SsangYong needed to do a little work here. The driving experience of the old Korando Sports pickup may have been quite car-like, but the interior ambience of that model really wasn't. Hence what's been delivered here, a more pleasingly finished cabin with plenty of smart silver trimming, especially around this more stylish 4-spoke leather-trimmed steering wheel. The other key change is found in a feature you only get in this top EX spec model, this 7-inch colour touchscreen, the infotainment display that's your access point for an RDS radio system, Bluetooth phone connectivity, and even a reversing camera, which is a hugely useful feature on any pickup, especially one that's likely to have a tow bar poking out below its back bumper. EX variants also get this full leather upholstery. There's artificial leather look trimming on the base SE derivative, but that might arguably be a better bet if your pickup is likely to lead a hard working life. Now, all models get these rather unusual circular control clusters to the left and to the right of the clear LED lit instrument binnacle. Top model features like automatic climate control and heated seats add the sort of luxurious touches you probably wouldn't have expected to be able to afford for the kind of money SsangYong is asking here. Time to take a seat in the rear. which is where this Musso holds an advantage over some of its most direct rivals. The back seat in many a double cab pickup seems often to be something of an afterthought, cramped for the feet and uncomfortably upright for the back. This one's better, and you get touches like this fold-down centre armrest with twin cup holders. There's storage for small tools behind the backrest, and it also helps that the low window line gives the cabin a light, airy feel. Pickup pricing has become pretty unacceptable to an increasing number of potential purchasers in this segment. A rival Ford Ranger, a large Mitsubishi L200 or a tough Toyota Hilux may all tempt you, but their asking prices won't. Nor will the amount of extra money you'll have to spend on them to get the complete spec you'll probably want. Now, take that total figure, then tot it up alongside the proposition SsangYong have for you here. And what's that? Well, as a rough rule of thumb, a Musso pickup can be yours for the same price, including that, as a competitor will cost excluding it. In other words, this vehicle enjoys a price advantage of around 20% over much of its competition. To be more specific, you'll need a budget of not much more than £16,000, excluding VAT, to get yourself into the entry-level SE model. Stretching to this plusher EX variant, we'll see a price tag of around £18,000, excluding VAT, with a further £1,000 to pay if you want the convenience of automatic transmission. All these figures apply to the double cab body style that we're trying here, which is the only one SsangYong offers in our market. The only rival that could get close to this Musso's asking prices is Isuzu's D-Max, but if you specified one of those up to match the spec of this SsangYong, you'd probably need the best part of another £1,000, and then you'd still be getting yourself a pickup with less power and higher running costs. The next most affordable mainstream choice in this segment is Nissan's MP300 Navara, the only pickup in the sector that can match this Musso's coil-sprung quality of ride. That's thanks to the Nissan's 5-link rear suspension setup. Navara double cab prices start at close to £20,000, excluding VAT, but then, as with the Isuzu, you have to add plenty to that if you want to equip your vehicle to this SsangYong standard. Otherwise, all the other pickup alternatives you could consider are all pricier. Spend just over the £20,000 mark, excluding VAT, and you can get yourself entry-level double cab versions of models like the Mitsubishi L200, the Ford Ranger and the Volkswagen Amarok. But none of these three contenders can match the pulling power of this Musso unless you pay more to get them with a pricier, more powerful diesel engine. Toyota's Hilux, which costs about the same as this trio, can match this SsangYong's 400 Nm torque output, but in base form the Hilux is very sparsely equipped. In fact, all the pickup models I've just mentioned are, if you select the entry-level trim I've alluded to in each case. Fit any of them out to match the kind of plush spec of this Musso EX, and you could easily find yourself paying a VAT-exclusive price of well over £25,000. Makes you think, doesn't it? Ultimately, to match this SsangYong's pricing, you'd probably have to buy one of the established contenders in late low-mileage second-hand guise. But even then, you'd have to do without some of the kit that comes as standard here. Across the Musso range, expect to find 18-inch alloy wheels, a load space liner, an alarm and immobiliser system, and a proper full-sized spare wheel. Inside, there's air conditioning, iPod and Bluetooth phone compatibility, and a reasonable quality RDS CD stereo system with remote steering wheel controls. Plus, you get headlamp levelling, cruise control, all-round electric windows, powered heated mirrors, and leather for the steering wheel and gear knob. Go as I have here for the top spec EX model, and you also get leather seats that are heated in the front and offer 8-way electric adjustment for the driver, power folding door mirrors, roof rails, rear parking sensors, auto headlamps and wipers, climate control, and a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment monitor that includes a reversing camera. Whichever Musso model you choose, safety stuff includes airbags for the driver and front passenger, active head restraints to guard against impact whiplash, a 4-channel anti-lock braking system, ESP stability control with ARP active rollover protection, hill start assist to stop you from drifting backwards on uphill junctions, and Isofix child seat fastenings. SsangYong's car-like claims for this Musso model might be to some suggestive of some compromise in commercial practicality. That's not the case when it comes to size. A large, flat rear deck provides a 2.04 square metre load area, complete with a standard load deck liner and anchor points so that you can easily tie things down. And can those items be really heavy? They couldn't be with the original Korando Sports version of this design, but that model was later up-rated to be able to take the 1-ton payload that customers in this segment tend to be looking for. As you'd expect, that capability has been carried forward into the Musso range. Specify the optional tow bar and you'll be able to tow a brake trailer of up to 3 tons too. Many owners, particularly those looking to use this vehicle for industrial purposes, will want to add the optional rigid hardtop your dealer might well suggest you specify for all-weather protection and load-based security. It comes with a hinged rear window that closes behind the tailgate so that the car's central locking secures and protects the contents. And you'll find that this feature has been styled and colour matched to complement the rest of the car, so it won't look like a tacked-on afterthought, as do many retrofit hardtops. As for running costs, well, you won't be expecting a pickup with a gross vehicle weight of over 2.7 tonnes to be especially frugal. So the return in this case, a quoted 40.0 mpg on the combined cycle for the manual model, may be better than you might have feared. That sees this Musso's Euro 6 2.2 litre diesel power plant delivering you over 8 more miles to every gallon than the old Korando Sports model's feebler 2 litre diesel unit could manage from launch. Choosing the automatic gearbox doesn't have too much of an effect on this. The fuel figure falls to 37.0 miles to the gallon. But it does have slightly more of an impact on CO2 emissions, which rise from 186 grams per kilometre in the manual to 202 grams per kilometre. Now, to give you some perspective, overall those returns are about the same as those you get in the less powerful and supposedly super efficient D4D global diesel engine you'd get in a rival Toyota Hilux. That leaves ownership peace of mind, something SsangYong likes to specialise in providing. This vehicle covered by a best-in-class 5-year limitless mileage warranty. And limitless means just that. Read the small print in most manufacturer warranties and you'll find a mileage condition. It doesn't apply here. So even if you're planning to continually traverse the globe in your Musso, all its major components will be covered, including wheel bearings, suspension joints and bushes, steering joints, shock absorbers, even the audio system. Wearable components such as clutch discs and brake friction materials that could have their life reduced by poor driving are covered for 1 year or 12,000 miles, and there's a 3-year guarantee for the battery and for the paintwork. There's a lot to think about when it comes to picking out a pickup. You'll buy one in the first place because you want practical, go-anywhere ruggedness. Yet, if at least some of the time it's got to serve as your only means of transport, then you also need car-like qualities, real refinement, supple suspension and a comfortable cabin. Ideally, you want all of this along with a high specification and a price that looks like a misprint. You'd be asking for a lot. Yet here, SsangYong has struggled to provide exactly that and got remarkably close to delivering it. There are, it's true, some more sophisticated, higher profile choices you could make in this sector, and some of them have classier cabins and can carry or tow slightly more. All, though, are painfully pricey in comparison to this Musso, and in many cases are much cruder to drive on road. That last point we think is significant. This model is not only as honest, reliable and highly capable as every pickup should be, but crucially, thanks to its car-like coil-sprung rear suspension, is also better suited to a life on tarmac than many of its contemporaries. On top of that, you get the kind of comprehensive after-sales support every pickup should have, and even a bit of a sense of style too. All from a brand you've maybe never heard of, but might like to start to get to know. In summary, the word Musso may mean rhinoceros in Korean, but what we found here is a pickup that can offer more than just tough robustness. True, the resulting package certainly isn't an obvious choice in this segment. In many ways, though, it's a rather clever one.